I have a topic I want to discuss.
Okay.
I actually have a couple, but
Okay.
this one, let's close that, is something I feel you will want to discuss.
Okay. I wonder if
I,
it's one of mine. Go ahead.
well, obviously it's about the House Speaker. I wanted to have a conversation about that. Hey,
McCartney.
not him personally. Actually, I don't give a shit about him. Um, what I was really just like trying to wrap my head around this past week was you have these people that were adamantly opposed and disruptive, which I'm for in general. Like, I'm typically for people voting their conscience.
Sure.
But my problem was, and I had this conversation with a couple of people, there was no alternative person that they wanted. As a matter of fact, they kept picking different people. So that wasn't it. They wanted to extort perks. And that is bullshit. I call bullshit on that one.
Oh, it's literally what the Republican Party has become. And this kind of, I'm not taking away from your topic, but I do think it adds on. It's an and because it's kind of all encompassing in
Uh-huh.
terms of what the Republican Party has come. Like, look at George Santos,
Yeah.
right? This Republican here out of New York
Yeah.
who literally lied about everything.
But that's not against the law. He can lie about whatever he wants.
Not, but there's like no. But here's my problem with it. If you
Okay.
or I were applying for a job
Yeah.
and we lied,
Mm-hmm.
they would literally take the job away from us. It's happened to
Mm-hmm.
somebody that we both know,
Yeah.
someone that we both know, and she didn't do it on purpose. She legitimately thought she had graduated college. She walked, she got the diploma,
Right.
the whole nine, and then come to find out she was one credit short of actually getting really graduating.
Right.
And she found out because she quit her job, accepted a new job, and then the new job was like, we contacted your college and you didn't actually graduate. She had no clue, and they took the job offer away.
Yeah.
And she had
For
to go
one
back to her
little tiny thing like that.
one credit.
Yeah.
And she had to go back to her old job, ask for her job back, like this whole, and she went and got the credit and graduated. It was fine. But it's like, yes, there are repercussions in normal life
Right.
for fucking lying like this. And
Right.
yet this motherfucker can go on. He's not only sworn in, he gives the 3%er sign, whatever, when he's getting sworn in.
Uh,
And the reason I'm bringing up with McCartney is because McCartney knew that that motherfucker would vote for him,
exactly.
as opposed to holding him. Like, our elected officials should be held to a higher standard. He gets
Agreed.
health care for life. He's going to make 200 plus $1,000 a year to work 6 months out of the year. And how do you as a constituent believe that this person is actually going to stand up and do the things they said they were going to do when they've lied about everything they've ever done?
Yes, but I don't think his constituents care that much. Obviously, they voted for him.
But the problem is here in New York, they don't have my understanding, which is very limited on the state side, is they don't have recall elections.
Oh,
So if there
okay.
was a recall, there would potentially be he would be held accountable, but the state just doesn't have that.
Right.
And
Well,
maybe
that
they will now because you don't think that somebody's going to lie to that degree. And what's crazy to me in all the reading I've done, because there was a group of Democrats who were saying, why didn't the DNC and the Democrats know that this happened? Why was it, um, an expose from the New York Times that finally brought it out? And the person said, nobody thinks any, sure, we totally get that people exaggerate or embellish.
I lie about my weight. Telling you right now, I'm never going to tell you the truth. Never. Never. I'm going to be upfront and honest about the fact that I'm going to lie to you about my weight on my driver's license. I think I might have raised it by 10 pounds. It might say 145 pounds. Yeah. When
But
I
you're
was
also
10,
that's not, but it's also not impacting.
right?
You're not lying about your grandparents being in the Holocaust. You're not
No,
lying about jobs that you held. You're not lying about the education that you have. Like,
definitely
and
not.
literally, and like for McCartney to just brush this under the rug and absolutely not. The one thing that is, I know that there are people who are like, oh, liberals and, Republicans are all the same. It's like, look at what happened to Al Franken.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that how it was handled was right or wrong. You just look at the facts, that there were allegations, there was a picture from 20 years prior, and he was ousted. He was held to a higher standard, and that is the standard that should be held for our elected officials.
Agreed. Except that the T word was president of the United States for 4 years.
And that's the issue, right? Like it what is that saying?
Shit rolls downhill.
Well,
No.
that's one. The fish head rots from the top, and there's like all these sayings about
One bad apple ruins the whole barrel.
all of it, all encompassing. We all know it starts at the top, and he has created that. The T word has created this okayness in allowing lying and just being an unethical, horrific person to be okay.
Because you know what? Republicans weren't this. Even as much as I disliked Bush, let me tell you, I would have dinner with him. I would sit down and have a conversation with him. I never once thought, oh my God, if George W. Bush comes near me, I would start shouting obscenities at him. Never once thought that. I'm telling you now, I have no problem if the T word came anywhere near me to immediately just start being like, you're a horrible person. Thank God you don't decide who goes to heaven, because I'm pretty sure you're not. I'm like, I try not to do that, but I don't trust myself. But now I look at this, like the guy that is that his name?
George Santos.
Seriously? I'm like, and he's still smiling, like, oh, it's no big deal. Okay.
Oh, he's like, who doesn't do it? What? Like, that's what I mean, is it's like there's this belief that normal everyday Americans do this, and it's like, no. Working class people would not be allowed to get away with this.
No.
At all. I mean, I've known a few people, very few, who've lied about having a college degree and been okay and gotten jobs. But I will say, for those jobs, like sales jobs, like you don't really need a college degree per se.
You do not.
No, but I also think that when you lie about something like that, it diminishes for those people that have. It's like cheating, right?
Sure.
Like if you cheat on all of your exams and use AI technology, and now there's all these resources available for students and people to cheat on exams, that at some point there is, like, you're also hurting yourself because you're not learning the information.
Right. But I mean, point in case is on my social media feed, for some reason, okay, you do know I live in Las Vegas, and I live in the flight path, and I swear to God, there's, in the last like 20 minutes, there's been like 500 fucking airplanes flying overhead, and I'm literally gonna lose my shit, just so you know. Okay. Something to the effect of, write, fabulous blog posts in 5 minutes with fake generated. You put in 5 words and it writes an entire blog post for you, and I'm like, where's the ethics in that? Where's the humanity and the caring and the the brilliance that is available to us as just normal people
Mhm.
in fake AI generated everything.
It's
I'm
literally, I mean, it's going to happen, right? That's just Web 3.0,
Yeah,
and AI technology is going to be a part of our lives. And in some ways, it's really great, right? When you think about ways that it can detect breast cancer, for example, right? Like that it has in terms of like the eyes and what it can see versus a normal, you're hoping a human eye can see a lump, and things like that. It's wonderful.
okay.
On the flip side, yeah, it is, there's a potential where we don't have to really write anything.
Right. So this brings me back to the my original topic and this thought process that I'm struggling with, which is, so there's this group of 20 people that are holding out. Um, and really what I thought the Democrats should have done is immediately scrambled for the middle of the road Republicans and say, vote for our guy, right? But and I thought maybe they did, but it just didn't happen. But so we have this what appears to just be utter bullshit, right? Unethical, so that you can be appointed to a committee that makes decisions,
Mhm.
and then what? Fuck all of us over? When are we as a group of people, as a nation, gonna like rise up and be like, nope, done with it. You out. Why are we not doing that?
I mean, technically, that's what the elections are for, right? When these people are up for election, it is they're representing communities. And the problem is when you think about these communities, especially in the House and their districts, they've been gerrymandered to death, one.
Hmm.
And then two, you have voter suppression that people still aren't talking about.
Right.
So the only way Republicans continue to win and not be held accountable is lying and cheating. And there are even people on the left who are like, you know what? They're using the system that they have to work within, and they're just using it to their full advantage. And that's what Democrats should be doing. Like, Democrats need to stop playing nice and just need to win. And
Yeah.
I feel like there's a very slippery slope in that.
Yeah, I would struggle with that personally. Now, on the other hand, I also am not one to lay down and take it, right? So, okay, can you hear the airplanes?
No,
Okay, that's all I care about then. Although I am gonna lose my shit over it. I'm just gonna let you know. Like, I'm gonna
I don't know.
shake my fist. Um, is I how do I put this? I am tired of this kind of crazy. I really am. And I'm an old lady and I don't have much time left on this planet, but I do not want to live back in the 1800s. You know what I mean? And I'm like, at some point, as a nation, we got to stand up. Now, even people that don't agree with me politically, like, and I guess this is where I've lost my ability to understand, and I never want to lose my ability to be compassionate, but I've noticed that it's sort of happening, is even if we don't agree, and let's just say I don't want to pick immigration, but we can, like, your big beef is what? That you believe people are coming to this country and then immediately joining welfare and you have to pay their ticket. That's what you're believing?
You know what's interesting? I heard someone, I read an article about it months ago, and then somebody brought it up recently, and I was like, yeah, I remember reading something about this. It was along the same lines, at least. where there was discussion around, say, immigration and how we are all Americans, right? Like there's North America, there's South America, but
Oh,
technically it's the United States of Mexico, United States of America, right? Like they are the United States of Mexico. That's what they are technically called. And that if we all called each other Americans, just that language shift would possibly change how we think about other people, and not just calling them immigrants, or not just because then we just see them as other human beings who are maybe fleeing a, and I feel like I'm possibly changing the topic, but I just think that's an interesting way to think about dilemmas, right? In terms of like using immigration or using that if we just changed our mindset a little bit on a lot of these topics, we probably all kind of come to the same conclusion. But unfortunately, you're dealing with people who think they're fucking space lasers and magic underwear,
right.
and
That's
Democrats have pizza parlor shops where they're, doing God knows what.
right.
It just doesn't make, so yeah, when you're dealing with lunacy, it's impossible.
And I think that's it. That's why I said that exact thing was like, if those 20 people could have said, here's our concerns and laid them out, I would have at least been able to go, oh, I understand. But they didn't have any concerns. They just wanted what they want. They want to be in charge and they want to make decisions and they want
Actually,
to.
that's not totally true, because actually like one or two of the things that they wanted, I agreed with, and I feel awkward agreeing with them because I think they're nuts.
Yes,
But like,
unless
for example, like they don't want these big what they call the pork packages, right? Like this big $1 billion, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but like where all these different congressmen and women can throw in different
things in one bill. I'm a firm believer in one item per bill, period.
So that's one thing that they've brought up.
Yeah. And I bet you when push comes to shove and there's a bill that's about to pass, those same 20 people will throw in their pork. So I don't want to hear it because I feel that's a bullshit.
I agree.
No, they won't. They would just as soon get their agenda through, which I get. That's not the point of our politicians. Our politicians are supposed to represent the people. So pushing your own personal agenda through is not, although some people would say they got voted in, but they got voted in by people that believe in laser beams and pizzas,
But then there's this group, and I really struggle with this, and I'm trying to be more empathetic about it. I really, really, really am. I know a few people who are like, it's not their fault. It's
what?
not their
Oh,
right. If they're like, if every news outlet that they're watching, you think about the algorithms of how Twitter or Facebook, who knows?
No, I don't agree. I'm telling you now.
I am with you. I'm like, I have a really hard time.
Otherwise, you and I would be in that same case, right? We'd still be.
I feel exactly the same way. I'm like, I have a really hard time giving someone the benefit of the doubt on that, because you do have the internet. You can go online. You can read other opinions. I hate it, but sometimes I go on and just look at Fox and see what some of their articles are and see what they're spewing, and like read what some of the other, conservatives are saying. And, or like if there's a Fox News clip that's on Twitter, I'll watch it just to see how they're spinning something. And it does become, I will say this is where I have empathy, is it's like, what do you fucking believe anymore?
Right.
When CNN is now being operated by someone who literally doesn't care about the news. They don't care about ethics or honesty. All it is about getting clicks, making money, getting advertising dollars. Like we both have worked in advertising, like making the money, and they are manipulating headlines or news in order to make that happen. It's like, well, then what is that line of what's real and what's not, even on the left?
There is a moment where if if it sounds astronomically insane, it's probably astronomically insane. So,
Mhm.
like, and I've heard some astronomically insane um theories where I'm like, you have to be kidding me. Like the one where JFK Jr. is still alive and he's running the country. Come on. No excuse. I have no excuse.
That was pretty bad.
I'm like, I can't even. Now, you know, secret behind the scenes meetings. I'm going to be more flexible about those things now. Secret behind the scenes meetings where they're having mass sex with 5-year-old children. I'm not as likely to believe that.
But then what's crazy is these same people, well, this is where what's kind of mind-blowing, in my opinion, is you'll have these same people that believe Hillary Clinton and the Democrats are running the Pizzagate,
Yeah,
right? Yet you'll have exact proof and people coming out and talking about Jeffrey Epstein's island
yeah,
and the people that went, and they're like, well, they were just friends. He just happened to be in the room he just took a picture with, like, literally refuse
yeah,
or make excuses. And that's where I really hate the Republican Democrat thing, especially in cases like that, because it's like, you know what? This is not political. If anyone is molesting children, if anyone is doing
yeah,
something that fucking atrocious, like lying about being in college, about
yeah,
lying about, it should not be about what party that you are elected to and whether
yeah,
that's okay. The answer should just be fucking no. Like,
yes.
no.
It should be. You are right. You and I are right again. You know what though, and that's just it. I'm like, if you want to say to me, I don't like I don't like the idea of taxing the rich. I feel the rich should not be taxed. I can accept that. Like that makes sense to me in the sense that I would understand if you were a wealthy person, you wouldn't be taxed more.
Oh, fuck those people. Absolutely not.
Oh my
They
God,
should be
no. Right, right. I'm just saying, but I understand the thought process.
if that is their policy or the policy they
Yes, if
believe in.
that's their issue, then that's great. But if you say, well, my issue is that they only eat red jelly beans and the red jelly beans cause, them to talk to astro project themselves to another planet, that's when I'm like, okay, you're fucked up. Just tell me you don't want to be taxed. Tell me you're rich and you don't want to be taxed. At least I think that's a normal thing.